Good afternoon and welcome to everybody assembled here today. I want to introduce my counterparts. My counterpart at the Iowa Democratic Party, Chairman Dr. Andy McGuire, as well as Microsoft Vice President of Technology and Civic Engagement, Dan Lewin. So the three of us have a very, very special and a very, very, I guess what I would call nationally significant event to announce. We are here today to talk about the Iowa Caucuses. They're a revered tradition with roots stretching back to the 19th century. For the last 4 decades, Iowa has been the first nominating contest in the country, helping to launch candidates for the White House. The Iowa Caucuses represent what is best about American democracy. For months before the caucuses themselves, candidates seeking the highest office in the land spend countless of hours shaking hands, speaking with men and women of Iowa. In Iowa, all candidates are given a fair opportunity at presenting their vision for the future, and all they need is time and energy to meet our caucus goers. Iowans have a tradition of rewarding those who are willing to work for their support. I tell all presidential candidates, and I'm sure Andy does too, that just look at Chuck Grassley or Terry Branstad or any of our successful politicians here in Iowa. Both make a habit of visiting all 99 counties, spending real time here. Being first in the nation is incredibly important to Iowa and both the Democratic and Republican parties here. We value it deeply and will work together with a united front to preserve our first in the nation status. Annie and I have said it before. We've said it many times and we'll say it many times in the future. You will never find daylight between our parties when it comes to our first in the nation status, period. On this, we will continue to be partners. The caucuses are a spectacular tradition, but they also pose a unique challenge. Unlike primary election, which is handled by the state caucuses, caucuses are run by the parties themselves. It's part of what makes our caucuses so unique, but also what makes reporting on caucus night a technology challenge. We must ensure that precincts in all part of the state are able to quickly and accurately provide caucus results. As we continue the technological revolution, which has changed so much of our daily lives and our politics, it's important that we have a caucus reporting system that is using the very latest and the very best technology to provide accurate and quick results. To go into greater details and for our announcement, the Chair of the Democratic Party, Andy McGuire.
That was great. That was great. Thank you, Jeff, and thank you all for being here today. Well, as Jeff explained, we Iowans are proud of our first in the nation status. It's a bipartisan privilege and one that Iowans take very seriously. And as we weigh really who's going to be the next president of the United States. So we're proud of our position. We're also proud to have been first in leading the way for some of the most advanced technology for elections and campaigns. When there's new, high-tech, cutting-edge ways to organize, to run elections, to evaluate data and results, you often see it here first in Iowa. You've seen that from the Iowa Democratic Party over the years as we blaze the trail in door-to-door data collection, in online voter files, and during the 2004 precinct caucuses, we built a new interactive voice response system to collect results, getting them out to Iowans and the world quicker than ever before. And today, the Iowa Democratic Party and the Republican Party of Iowa are taking the next step together in advanced election reporting technology. Jeff and I are proud to announce that the political parties of Iowa have partnered with Microsoft on a new reporting results system for the 2016 Iowa Caucus. This new cloud-based online reporting platform will allow for accurate, efficient, and secure results reporting on caucus night. We're in the new world where people not only expect quick results turnaround times, but also instant verification and as much of a guarantee of accuracy as is humanly possible. So this year, and because of our partnership with Microsoft, Iowans and the rest of America will get exactly what we all expect: timely, accurate results backed up by one of the top software companies in the world. Precinct chairs will be able to enter the results of their precincts on the mobile app, which will be available on all major platforms: iOS, Android, Windows, really you name it. Each party will also have a separate verification app, which will automatically alert us if there are anomalies in the data. We can then quickly, with precinct chairs, work out the discrepancies. Built with Microsoft technology along with their partner, Internology, each party will be using an app developed specifically for their particular caucus, one for the Democrats and one for the Republicans. That will enable precincts to securely submit caucus results directly to their party headquarters on caucus night. As many of you know, the Republican caucuses run very differently from the Democratic caucuses, and each party's app will be built to handle the caucus's individual needs for caucus night. So how does this work? Well, in the past, results from precincts would be phoned in on caucus night on an automated telephone system, and then hard copies of the data would be sent to the party headquarters as a backup. That's not really ideal. Meanwhile, the public, as well as, of course, reporters, will have, oh, excuse me. You've seen, oh, I'm off a little bit.
That's all right.
Yeah, there you go. Should have numbered the pages, huh? Well, we'll go on with this. So you reporters expect those results. The goal is that the app will be as simple as it is secure, but we're not taking any chances. That's why in the upcoming months, both parties will be conducting extensive training with county chairs and leaders on how to use the app. And as a doctor, trained in the sciences, I can promise you we will test and retest and retest the technology until we're completely confident it's secure and capable. But I am confident that the bipartisan partnership is an incredible step forward for the Iowa caucuses and for election technology. I am proud to stand here with the Republican Party of Iowa and with Microsoft as we come together to make Iowa first in the nation once again. And now, I'm proud to welcome Daniel Lewin, Corporate Vice President of Technology and Civic Engagement for Microsoft. Oh, that's right.
Thanks. Thank you, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. As said, I look after an area inside of the company called Technology and Civic Engagement, where we are focused very much on engaging in supporting civic discourse. And this is a wonderful example and a great opportunity for us to share here in Iowa. I am very happy to join you to talk about the future of one of the most exciting exercises in our democracy. As I've learned about the Iowa caucuses, it is exceptional, unique, and a great opportunity for us to apply our technology. As you know, early next year, Iowans will gather in community centers and churches and schools where they'll make their preference known through the discussions and thoughtful deliberation, no doubt one of the most unique forms of civic engagement in the country. At Microsoft, we believe that technology can help empower the democratic process, and we've been working hard to expand and apply our technology in innovative ways to support and strengthen America's political process. Today, we're excited to announce a first-of-its-kind technology solution to the Iowa Caucus reporting system that will help facilitate reliable, secure, and timely access to results. In 2016, the caucus results will be delivered via this new mobile-enabled, cloud-based platform that will help facilitate these accurate and timely results. As was mentioned, it will be available for all of the primary platforms, so iOS and Android as well as Windows. And you'll be able to use your phone or PC to participate. Under this new system, each Iowa political party will have its own app designed to support the unique caucus process. And the whole system will be backed by our security of the Azure cloud system, which is world-class. And through Internology, which is helping build the tech solutions, Microsoft will empower Iowans, the political parties, and the media, and the public at large with these faster results from the precincts with strengthened security and deeper insights into the system and the process. We prepared a video clip that we hope will be explanatory and helpful in framing this for you.
This is Iowa. Every 4 years, the world looks on as Iowans cast their opinions in the crucial first stop on the road to a U.S. presidential election. It's the first official event in the nation in a primary season, an early bellwether of election year politics, and it's known famously as the Iowa Caucuses. So, what is a caucus? In common use, it's defined simply as a gathering of neighbors. But in reality, there's a bit more to it. The process differs between Democrats and Republicans, but their goal is the same: to choose delegates from each of Iowa's 1,700 or so voting precincts who will go on to represent their candidate at the county, district, and state conventions, and ultimately at the Democratic and Republican national conventions, where presidential candidates are officially nominated. Let's start with the Republican process. On a designated day near the beginning of an election year, in 2016 it'll be around February 1st, Iowans are called to a public meeting place to discuss the presidential candidate they personally prefer. Representatives from each campaign are typically present to offer the case for their candidate. Turnout in each precinct ranges anywhere from hundreds of people down to just a few. Eventually, discussion ends and voters cast a secret ballot. Votes are tallied and the results are reported to the state party, which in turn relays them to the media. Democratic caucuses are held on the same day, and similarly, Iowans from each precinct meet in a public place, but the process is not based on ballots. The room is first divided into sections, one for each represented candidate, and one for undecided voters, if necessary. Participants physically arrange themselves into groups based on their preference. Supporters of each candidate then try to persuade their neighbors to switch groups for roughly 30 minutes, and then each group is counted. If a group is too small to be considered viable, a threshold which is determined ahead of time using math, the group is dissolved and the remaining groups compete to absorb its members. Non-viable groups could also combine to form a viable group, or absorb members from a viable group in the hope of becoming viable themselves. Once everyone's done moving around, the groups are counted again and the number of delegates assigned to each precinct is divided between the groups using math again. Finally, the number of delegates won by each candidate is reported to the state party, which calculates delegate counts for the state convention and relays those numbers to the media. The sooner that results can be tallied and reported, the better, but most precincts are hundreds of miles away from party headquarters in Des Moines, which begs the question, how does the data get there? Past reporting systems were based around a network of automated telephone surveys, and as a backup, old-school paper forms, which were returned by mail. Across more than 1,700 precincts, with no real verification that the results entered were actually accurate, errors were bound to be made. As an example, a volunteer could mistakenly hit a phone key twice and incorrectly report 22 votes cast for a candidate when only 2 votes were actually counted. Caucuses are often decided on very small margins, and errors in reporting could change the overall outcome. This is where Microsoft is proud to help. Through our partner Internology, Microsoft will release smartphone and tablet apps for iOS, Android, and Windows devices, which will allow authorized and authenticated caucus chairpersons to record and report results for their precinct more intuitively. Separate apps will be made available to support the unique needs of each party's process, and neither party's data will ever be commingled or shared externally. In addition to mobile reporting apps, each party will have a separate results verification app that will allow headquarters staff to monitor incoming results. Anomalies and potential problem areas will be automatically highlighted, and party officials will be able to quickly connect with precinct chairs if issues come up. Once validated, trustworthy results will be instantly sent to media outlets and to the general public through an interactive web app. Results will be visualized on a map as they come in, and users will be able to explore the election by zooming into individual counties and precincts. Party officials will also have access to a more detailed private view, which can help offer deeper insights into their data. The whole system is backed by the security and reliability of the Microsoft Cloud, and can deal with as many users as it needs to without skipping a beat. It's robust, it's reliable, and most importantly, it's accurate. The future of civic engagement technology is here, and it all starts in Iowa.
Fire the mic up. Perfect. Yeah, we applaud both parties for championing the use of technology in the democratic process, and we look forward to partnering with both parties throughout this experience. And I would like to say, for generations, people have looked to Iowa, and we're hoping that this will continue, and we're very glad to be part of this new milestone. Thanks very much.
We'll be happy to take some questions. We'll ask Rodney Guzman from Internology to come up and join us in case there is something technological, because you do not want me to be answering those.
Or me.
Is there any questions? I don't think any of this is being driven by past mistakes. I think this is looking forward and continuing to do everything possible to make sure the rest of the country realizes that we deserve to be first in the nation and stay on top of things.
Yeah, we have significant plans over the course of the late summer and fall to be training in the field, running sample results, if you will, pushing things through the system. So we're very comfortable with the timeline and the process by which we will, in a hands-on way, train and educate. There's always, obviously, fallback position of using IVR, but we believe that we've got plenty of time, and we feel very comfortable that we've got the work plan associated with getting people acclimated and comfortable with the system, as well as running tests.
As far as caucus night, will there be any kind of system in place?
Yeah, for example, in terms of there will be connectivity right from each precinct where the system will push the results into a central into the cloud, if you will, where things will be authenticated and counted and secure. And we run many things at scale, including worldwide streaming events like the Olympics. We run millions of transaction per second closures for major financial institutions. So we're very comfortable with the scale of information, the small numbers that will be pushed around through the system. So from an internal and technical perspective, we're very confident.
Andy, when you say I've been working with companies, I know there's been talk about trying to figure out ways to allow active duty personnel to participate in legislation to allow people to take time off work.
Absolutely. That's sort of a different subject, but yes, we're working on having military that are outside the borders of Iowa be able to caucus through a telephone caucus, be able to have preference groups. We're working on satellite caucuses for people who have mobility issues, and then we're working on sort of childcare issues. We're trying to be as inclusive as possible, but this is really about the software so we can get those results in.
Verify that the data entry is accurate. I mean, it's still a human. It doesn't matter if you're punching numbers into a phone or on your pad. How do you ensure that they're accurate?
Well, and I'm the non-techie, but maybe I should say that because that's sort of part of it. Just from my point of view, one of the things I think they do really well is this anomaly. So if you did punch in like the number 7 times, that sort of thing is going to show up. I'm not sure you can humanly get rid of everything, but I think that's very good that we'll be able to tell if something, they have this many and this comes in that really doesn't match the numbers. Sorry.
Yeah, there's a lot of results that when for example, how many other votes should be in a precinct, and a lot of patterns to data, and so if something doesn't fit right to what is sort of expected, they'll be automatically flagged and be able to be processed.
I understand that,
Yeah, okay.
but that wasn't necessarily the problem that Republicans experienced 4 years ago, where you just had numbers were wrong that were entered. So how do you, if the number is entered wrong and it's still within the satisfactory range, how do we flag those? How do we know that it's accurate?
Of course, Craig, the election was the closest ever in history. That's not apt to repeat itself. Are we going to completely eliminate it? No, we're dealing with human beings. I would add to that, though, there is another step, and that is the media and everyone that's observing these results are going to also be giving a cross-check. In terms of making this 100% perfect, we're never going to have that.
How do you verify? We have a verification process. The last time, is there still paper used or not, or is it all?
There will be hard copies, and we are still, at least Republicans, I don't want to speak for the Democrats on this, in the case of Republicans, we're having a meeting in June, our organization committee is still meeting, and there are still a whole lot of issues and things that we're going to talk about. We're not even close to being up and ready on that night, and that is one issue that will come up, Craig.
How much is Microsoft taking work, or are you mostly doing this as sort of a high-profile public relations?
We're just providing the administrative infrastructure to support the caucus, and it's just the use of the technology for that period of time.
Anything else?
From Eternalology, what other apps or what other projects have you developed? Can you talk a little bit about your company?
Well, a lot of the apps that we do actually are under very strict NDAs, but one of the examples of the apps that we built was CNN's Magic Wall, is one we recently completed for John King. So we're very familiar with the space and dealing with a lot of this type of information. So we do a lot of these types of apps for a lot of different kinds of companies that we're unfortunately not allowed to tell you about.
You work with that, is it Azure? Is it the, can you work with that platform?
Yeah, one of the things to point out about Microsoft as a company and our model has always been that we are very partner-driven and partner-led. We build lower-level technologies upon which people build interesting intellectual property, which often is the interface or the application layer. Of course, we do a lot in office automation with our Office products and things like that. But we've been working with Internology since 1999, and in many instances, they're very high-profile projects where we work with large corporations or others, and we bring the domain expertise of companies like Internology. On a global basis, we have about 700,000 partners. In the United States, it's about 250,000. So we've got ones that we work with on a tried-and-true basis, and so when we see these opportunities, we invariably partner because we don't have that domain expertise, and we look for a broader ecosystem to support our products. Truly, yes. Yep.
Anything else? I guess the last thing I'd like to
Both
say, and
of
I'll turn
us.
it over to Andy, and that is, we're leading the nation in our caucuses, and we're going to get the first crack at the nomination for president. We are going to lead the nation in terms of technology, in terms of accuracy, and in terms of taking our jobs very seriously. And I'm proud to be standing here with you.
And Jeff, this is a bipartisan activity. We are hooked together for first in the nation. It's not a political thing. It's a thing for Iowa. And so we're really important. It's really important that we work together, and we are very much, if he goes, I go, and I go, he goes.
Absolutely.
Mr. Chairman, while you're here, the struggle preparations coming along, how are things going? What do you make of the fact that so many folks are sort of saying they don't want to be part of it? What do you make of the fact that half of Republicans in the state say it's be an option?
Yep. We're going to focus on caucuses.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff. Thank you. So I'm Mike Dack, Microsoft software supplier. So I know the program. You get it, yeah. So back in the 90s, there's been some changes. Sure.